All right, tonight I'm going to do the ICE explanation of an attack on Iran. So, if you really just step back and look at ICE, forget about the Renee Good murder, it's really not so different than anything else. So, during the Obama administration, there's way more deportations, way more action by ICE. So, they've had the same methods, the same tactical gear, the same whatever. It's just people didn't see it, they didn't really care. And they really ignored people that were already sort of living here for 10 years and law abiding citizens and whatever. So historically, this has been going on, but they really only went after people with criminal records. So why are they now going after everyone? Well, because I think they want to make a statement. They want to really latch into those voters that are really disenfranchised or whatever. It's part of that, and part of they really think they can fix the world. It has to be pointed out there have been 3 million extra, immigrants swarming into the country over the past few years. But there's so many ironies here because why are the immigrants coming in? Because the economy is picking up after the pandemic. So it should be a good thing that the immigrants are coming. Generally, immigrants follow the economy. They've done research on this for 20, 40 years or whatever. And as the economy does well, immigrants come into America. As the economy does poorly, they go back home. Come and go back home. It's mostly driven by economics, really, not by anything of like, I want to go to America and get free health hospital care or anything like that. So anyway, just want to send the money home. So the way the whole Trump, Trump in the first term had his wits about him. So anything that he thought would interfere with his popularity or his being the center of attention, he would squash. So I always tell the story. Maybe I don't really understand it correctly. It didn't happen like this, but the way I sort of understand it is there was something with Iran in his first administration, and they launched some. They shot down that Reaper drone, and so everybody's like, oh, you got to attack them back. So Trump said, okay, work up some whatever plans, and then he went down to the ready room at like 3 a.m. or something, and they had the plans. And he said, and just when he's about to say yes, go ahead and bomb Iran or whatever, he's like, nah, forget it, I'm going back to bed. And I think the reason is because he was like, okay, if they bomb Iran, then the news is going to talk to generals tomorrow. And that's all the news is going to talk to is generals for the next 1-2 years during this freaking war. I don't want it. That's why Trump is a pacifist, because it's not that he doesn't want war. It's because he doesn't want to not be the center of attention. And a war takes the center of attention away from the top guy to everybody else, and he doesn't want that. And I do actually believe he's somewhat of a pacifist. He is bone spurs after all. He is a coward, so I don't really think he wants. He wanted a war back then, but now it's different because he just doesn't have his mental facilities anymore. So what he does is everybody, because the test of loyalty to him is for somebody to say, okay, I want to do this, and him to say yes or no, and that's it. That's what you do. So normally the job of the president, and what's so fascinating about how things have changed, the job of the president is to arbitrate differences between various people, between political parties, between the DOJ and the FBI and state governments. He's just the arbitrator. He gets on the phone. He tries to get people to work out their differences. That's his primary job. His primary job is not to set legislation. It's not to set the direction of the country. He can nudge it a teeny bit, as he feels he has a directive from the election, but he or she is supposed to be just somebody that arbitrates, but that's not what it is. So what it is now is you have each faction will go to him, and even if they wanted to talk to somebody, so even in the Jerome Powell thing, the DOJ should have understood what was going on, but or the FBI, I can't remember which one didn't talk to the other, but if they had said to Trump, oh, I want to go check with so-and-so at this other agency, Trump would have been, why? I gave you the command. If you can go talk to them, forget it. I thought we agreed. It's that kind of psychology going on. So because of that psychology, each one just tries to get what they want, and they do it. And by the way, I mean, as much as I can't stand Rubio and Hegseth and all the rest of them, you can actually see this on their faces that this does frustrate them. This is not what they want. I mean, they do want, they would like a more cohesive government. They may be very selfish in what they want for themselves, but even they understand that too much of it ends up doing stupid things, which is what's happening. So even though they're getting their way, they're getting their way without true consensus and looking stupid in many ways, which they do and which they are. But anyway, so because you have all these factional things with ICE, what's happened is Kristi Noem or whoever is in charge of that is like, okay, I need to get support for Trump. I need to make him look good amongst his base. So what we're going to do is, if we just, try and capture more people, again, they're not even deporting nearly the number that was deported during the Obama administration. But, let's just say they went after that. It's like, we're going to do that, and we're going to create more judges to process these applications to get rid of them that way. I mean, there are many sensible, rational ways to do it, but they don't want to do it. They want to make a statement. They want to look strong. They want to appeal to their base, like, we are taking these people out by the back of their hair and we're dragging them out and we're kicking them out, right? That's who they're appealing to. That's what they want to do. They want to show real power. And for the Democrats, or the liberals, or the blue states to basically make this look like, it's a Gestapo, there's definitely that aspect of it. But, you got to, some people want that. And, to pretend that they don't is just, it doesn't serve any purpose, any practical purpose, because now you're just in this constant battle. So how this relates to Iran. So, like I said, each person that has Trump's ear is going along their own certain, agenda that they want to make him look good or whatever. So you have the ICE thing, and then you have the tariff thing, and now you have the Iran thing, you have the Israel thing with putting, just think about Israel, his thing is oh, well, we got to put hotels in Gaza. I mean, that's, 70,000 plus people dead. And he's just like, yeah, we got to put some hotels in. They'll fix it. They'll fix it. He really is. I mean, it just can't be, I don't want to go down that road. So again, each one is going this. Now, the thing with Iran, as I said in the video yesterday, is that anybody who studied this, I think, geopolitical analyst worth their salt would say the United States getting into a war with Iran or starting a war, doing something that would lead to war in the Middle East would be catastrophic for the United States. Catastrophic. And this was before, as I said yesterday, even when Iran was a lot weaker. The United States could have done better against Iran, let's say during the Iraq War 25 years ago or whatever. Yeah, then they could have done better now. Then, today, it's even worse. So, like I said, again, everybody in the military, everybody in the CIA that is not literally a nut job knows this. And the question is, how could he get something like this through? So the problem here now, and again, this is what's so odd, and this is why, I think this happened with, I'm not going to talk about that, but anyway, so what you have here going on is each side, each faction that wants to get something done, does it in a very cowardly way. So, and also in a very, just a very cowardly way. So think about it. So you have those boats, right? So you bring the Navy down to Venezuela and you want to show all this power. Well, if you want to show all the power, land some Marines on the beach. That shows power. That is power. That's real power, right? Or maybe attack them. But again, they might attack you back. They do have some missiles. They do have boats. Who knows what they have, right? So, but instead of that, you basically bomb, you kill 100 people in open boats. Now, whether they're drug smugglers or not, they're completely defenseless. You're literally the proverbial shooting fish in a barrel. I mean, literally, right? Think about it. You're taking a 100,000 to $1 million missile on a $100 billion plane, and you're blowing like a feathercraft, a Boston whaler out of the water. It's just like, the cowardliness is just beyond it. But it makes you look tough, but it's not other people. So like I see it as not being tough. The general public, and I don't care, but they think they've actually accomplished something. And then when they buy off all these people so they can smuggle Maduro out of Venezuela and then bomb them later, that's my theory, just to make it look good, right? When they pay all this money to do this, they actually think they accomplished something. They never had a single, they have no boots on the ground. They dropped some guys, they paid off the people, they looked the other way, they took Maduro, they dragged him out, and you can see he's like, I can't believe you guys. You have to remember Chavez was actually kidnapped and brought for a few days, right? And they just brought him back. That's in the history if you want to look it up. Anyway, so it's that was a cowardly thing too. Just paying off people, just bribing people, and then claiming that was your military might. That it was your helicopters coming like Apocalypse Now through the beach, and you're dropping napalm on all of Venezuela, knocking out all these missile systems. It's just freaking nonsense, right? So again, cowardly. But you think, hey, I did it. I decapitated Venezuela. So in Trump's eyes, he's like, the Navy came down, and it basically, got these drug smugglers. It stopped the drug smuggling, right? The Army went into SEAL, and the Navy SEAL Team 6, whatever, went into Venezuela, and it captured this guy, right? Like, we got it. And, Syria, it's been reported that they've been bombing places in Syria, which are defenseless. So we haven't seen it, but I'm sure he's seen it in the ready room of, look at all these terrorist camps we've blown up in Syria. He's been shown that, right? Of course, Israel's continually in his ears, every president's ear trying to, anyway, whatever. So what he's seeing are all these successes, right? He's seeing the success of ICE really, get under the skin of people who don't vote for him, which is probably making people that would vote for him happy. Now, I don't believe that's true in reality. Like, people are not happy about it, but I'm just telling you how he's perceiving things, and because he only perceives things what people really tell him. Remember, he's almost like in a bubble. He's very old. He's senile. His brain. I mean, this is just nothing against him. This is how we all become when we get to that age. So he's just seeing all these successes. So now the faction that wants to bomb Iran, which I went into yesterday, like I said, it's hard to talk about because there's so much propaganda out there that when you talk about it, you sound like a conspiracy theorist, even though there's no conspiracy really about it if you think about it, right? If you're a company serving some, if you're a small company serving a big company, and the big company has a headache somewhere else, and you can help that big company with that headache, but you have to make sure that that headache is still a big headache for your company, well, then obviously you're going to sort of like push for that headache to be more of a headache, for the company and the headache to have their battle, so you can help the big company with their battle. So I hope you get where I'm going with that. But again, if I say the names and bring it all, you're like, oh, well, don't you look at all the protests and 2,000 protesters and this and that, because the steady stream of propaganda, you're not gonna see that. Even again, I think it's pretty common knowledge and accepted wisdom, so to speak, for geopolitical analysts for 40 years or whatever. But anyway, so you have these people that want the United States to attack Iran. Trump is seeing all his things being successful. In his mind, he's seeing things being successful. So right now, he can make it happen. And because everything is so balkanized, I think he can get it through. So it's just a question. It's just, just whether this person gets him at the right time or the right place, if he's frustrated with Epstein or he's frustrated with ICE. I mean, this is the problem. Whenever he gets frustrated, he just goes out and destroys something else. When you say, hey, Trump, you really shouldn't destroy this. He's like, okay. And he picks up and destroys something else. This is how he works. And, I don't know what to say, so anyway, he, will he attack Iran? I don't know. But if you think about it, if you think, okay, how am I going to write the history books in the future? It's a perfect storm for that to happen, for the United States to do something that, again, every geopolitical analyst I have ever read, none have ever said bombing Iran, attacking Iran, that we can change their government or whatever is going to work. Because here's the real clincher. Many analysts believe everybody wants it this way. And this ties back to ICE. Everybody wants the immigration system to be as dysfunctional as it is, because the Republicans get to look hard on crime. So when they want to, the economy's doing bad or whatever, their base is upset, they can say, yes, we're going to go get the immigrants, right? And then when the Democrats use it, it's like, we're protecting the immigrants, we're protecting the little guy. They use it for that. So they're both like, Republicans, we're protecting your jobs, we're protecting your safety. Democrats, we're protecting people, we're protecting community, we're protecting, the little guy. It's both just, and then underneath it, everybody suffers, right? From the ICE agents to the immigrants. And you see all these ICE these videos of these ICE people, and people think, oh yeah, well, they love doing this. And I'm sure some do. But there's a high turnover there. That's what I've read. And most of them do not like it. It is a traumatic thing to tear a family apart. I don't care who you are. So anyway, I think I've sort of lost track. But anyway, so you have this, this ICE thing. And then, yeah, with Iran, if he gets into tells one, a part of the military to attack it, then who knows what happens next. But it just seems like this is like a perfect storm of everybody playing a game. And I guess that's the final thing I'll leave you with, because I'm at like 18 minutes. The way that our society is shifted is that we don't think that the things we do are going to come back and bite us. We've grown up so spoiled, myself included, that we don't really think, we know it's sort of bad, but we think that, yeah, it'll sort itself out and we'll be okay. It won't lead to any lasting damages. So the tariffs is like, yeah, the tariffs is horrible, but whatever, we'll get a different president in a few years or a different Congress, whatever. Or he'll just get tired and back off. He'll be taco, right? So he'll taco and go back. And, we think with the ICE, they'll go away eventually or whatever. And then, because remember, they're not protesting now about the actual deportation of people. They're protesting because they killed one of ours, right? So anyway, so then, that'll go away. And then the Venezuela thing, that's the other thing why Trump's going to feel so emboldened about Venezuela is, the government's wanted to change that government for a long time. Now, it hasn't changed the government, but it got Maduro. They've wanted to get Maduro for a long time, so Trump did it. Again, he's feeling very emboldened. So now, again, he doesn't personally want to attack Iran. He doesn't. He just came on the news saying, oh, well, they didn't, the protests are going over and they're not executing anyone. He personally wants to get out of it. He always does. Like I said, he just wants to be center of attention. He wants to create trouble, but like any good virus, he doesn't want to kill the host. So anyway, he doesn't want to get into but he can be talked. People can talk him into things now. Again, like he says, everything people have brought him so far, he looks as a success. So now, why not? But anyway, getting back to the American public, because we don't believe anything is really going to affect us. Like we're just too strong for anything to bring us down. Thing after thing we allow. And we don't think about, people think like you do the tariffs and you do ICE and you do Venezuela and war and whatever, all these freaking things that they're on, that they have to stay on some sort of timetable where they're, you know, this one might end here and this one might end here and this one might end here. You know what I'm saying? Nobody thinks like, oh, it doesn't make a difference where you start. There could be a cliff here. And all these things, the tariffs, Venezuela, Israel, Iran, ICE, the Doge, like all these things that he's done that's damaged, that's created a lot of damage, in my opinion. All these things are running parallel. They're all running down this thing, and they're all going to fall off the cliff together. And when they do, there's no way to come back from that. I mean, yeah, it's going to be generational. And I do think that's what's going to happen. I do think that's where we are. Trump is getting these victories that aren't real victories, but he's not smart enough to know they're real victories. And nobody's going to tell him they're not real victories because they've been thrown out. And so he does thing after thing, and they're all going down the path towards disaster. And the reason people won't listen to experts in each of these areas that warn about it, an expert in each area says, no, this is bad. The tariffs are going to have bad consequences. Venezuela is going to have bad consequences. Israel's going to have bad consequences. ICE is going to have bad consequences. All these people saying this, they're sidelined because Americans think, yeah, you might be right, but don't worry, we're strong enough to recover. Well, if we do start war with Iran, that will be tested.